following opinions are solely those of BoatTEST.com and its test captain.
Well, it's a rainy day, but we're still going to be doing a sea trial on the all-new Prestige 460, one of the 4 boats that leads us to the entry level of the yacht class. Let's take her out and see how she does first.
As we prepare to get underway, I chose the flybridge helm for the visibility it afforded in the tight confines of our marina. But then it started to rain and I don't like to get wet, so down below I went. In actuality, the visibility was just as outstanding here as well, and I could better see the crew taking the lines off. While they were doing that, just a few taps of the IPS joystick held us in position nicely, and then we were on our way. The IPS joystick made short work of our departure, and frankly, it was rather comfortable with the stick falling right to my fingertips, promoting the gentle touch IPS requires. The Prestige 460 has a length overall of 46 feet 10 inches, a beam of 14 feet 1 inch, and a draft of 3 feet 7 inches. With an empty weight of 24,983 pounds, 75% fuel, and 6 people on board, we had an estimated test weight of 28,117 pounds. With the twin 435 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 600 engine spooled up to 3650 RPM, we reached our top speed of 31.9 knots. Best cruise came in at 3250 RPM and 27.7 knots. At that speed, the 34-gallon per hour fuel burn translated into 0.8 nautical miles per gallon and a range of 232 nautical miles, while still holding back a 10% reserve of the boat's 316-gallon total fuel capacity. As for handling, advancing the throttles brought us up on plane in 7.1 seconds. We reached 20 miles per hour in 9.4 seconds and 30 in 18.7. We had calm conditions during our test day, so we can't comment on how she handles in heavy seas, but we did notice she had the maneuverability and responsiveness of a much smaller yacht. She's quite responsive to the helm while still having the typical IPS characteristic of wide arcing turns. With the speed brought down, the turn radius of the pods increases, and accordingly the 460 will make tighter turns. Regardless, she still only rolls roughly 10 degrees into the turns, keeping everything comfortable throughout. The Prestige 460 carries a CE rating of B offshore with 10 people aboard and C coastal with 12 people aboard. When it came time to return to the dock, the IPS joystick system made short work of the tight confines and we were easily able to maneuver back into place with little fanfare. This is clearly a boat that anyone will feel comfortable operating, and the ease of maneuverability will make it easier to transition from a smaller boat. Now, let's look over some of her operational features. The flying bridge helm is a portside mounted pod style. Twin tachometers flank the single 12-inch display. The autopilot is ahead and to the right. To the lower panel, the trim tab controls are to the left of the wheel, which is mounted to a tilt base. To the right are the engine controls, and outboard of that is the IPS joystick. A stainless steel framed windshield was marginally effective in blocking the wind from the helm, but would be more effective for the forward sun pad. An antenna arch at the aft end of the flying bridge makes short work of servicing the electronics. And frankly, we'd like to see the radar dome mounted 2 or 3 feet higher. The lower helm station is starboard side mounted. The console is treated with a rubberized finish that eliminates glare. The dash is an acrylic with twin 12-inch displays flanked by heat and air conditioning vents. I like how the VHF is side mounted to the right of the console. Below and left is the autopilot that I'd like to see moved by the engine controls so that we can use it from the seated position. Then there's the windlass control. The Volvo Penta EVC display. Twin beverage holders accommodate the captain and observer. Rocker switches are lighted when activated. The steering wheel is again mounted to a tilt base. To the right are the engine start-stops, a second set of rocker switches, and the trim tab controls. Then we have good positioning for the IPS joystick and the digital engine controls right within reach of the seated position. Behind that, an accessory plug is conveniently located next to a shelf. Below is the fire suppression system, climate control, and battery parallels. There's standing headroom of 6 feet 8 inches, but that's negated by the low brow straight ahead, necessitating the need to sit while operating to see out the massive 2-piece windshield that includes defogging vents which kept it clear on our rainy day. The helm seat is double wide and in a fixed position. An optional control station can be installed behind a hatch that will go to the side of the cockpit. Moving to the bow, at the working end the rail height is 32 inches. A vertically mounted windlass leads to the recessed anchor roller. Cleats and roller-type chafing gear is to both sides. Hatches flanking the windlass provide road access and storage. To starboard, there's the windlass control. At the aft end of the main deck, there's the control panel with a Scheiber touchscreen and battery switches. There's also the master control for the heat and air. The shore power cord reel is well clear of any trip hazards up high on the starboard transom. The engine room is accessed from a hatch in the cockpit deck, the focal point, of course, being the twin 435 horsepower Volvo Penta IPS 600 engines. The pods are connected by jack shafts and are mounted further aft. At the forward bulkhead are the two 158-gallon fuel tanks flanking the 13.5 kW generator. Sea strainers and filters are all within easy access. And finally, we have crew quarters accessed from the aft deck. It's rather Spartan, but typical for a boat in this class with a single berth and accommodations for a head. Transom windows are flanked by opening port lights, pull-down shades are fitted, of course, and this whole area can be optioned out for a lazarette storage if desired.
Well, it's not an ideal day for a test, but we did have a good time driving the 460. Turns out to be a nice handling boat, and she's got a great layout, but that's another video. Be sure to look for it. For now, that's my full sea trial of the 460 from Prestige. For BoatTEST.com, I'm Captain Steve. We'll see you on the water.